What is Dark, guys? Behind Night here, and welcome to my series where I look at some of my favorite classes in Black Ops 2 and show you some of my favorite things to run, some of the most fun classes, some of the most tryhard, some of the best classes I found. So today we are going to be talking about my light machine gun class, and as you can see by the two explanation points, there we go. If I can remember what grammar thingies are. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about my favorite MLG class, coming out of the most powerful light machine gun, at least that I think in my own opinion. But like I've said in previous create a class videos, man, I wish I could talk. That would be amazing. One day I'll wish upon a star that my voice will come out from my face as beautiful as does the... I can't think of a rhyme anymore, but yeah, so my favorite LMG so far is the QBB LSW, and like I've said in recent creative class videos, a lot of the guns in this game, most guns in this game, are super balanced, which means that there really isn't one gun in any category that far exceeds or is far greater than any other gun, like there has been in past Call of Duties, where there's always this one gun that just stands out. Although I personally think that the QBB LSW stands just a little bit above the rest of the light machine guns. Now, I've practiced with all of these light machine guns, I've tried all these light machine guns, all of them are fun to use, but personally, I just like the QBB, only two Bs, LSW the best. Personally, I think that it has some of the highest, well, it does have the highest fire rate, and then it also has some of the highest damage out of any of the light machine guns, and I think that those together make it a very, very strong light machine gun. So if we look at this light machine gun, the first one, the MK48, we can see that its fire rate is super low. Its damage is also fairly low. Its range is really high and its accuracy is pretty good, but it just shoots so little bullets, doing so much less damage than the QBB LSW that it's really not worth putting on. So let me look at the LSW. Obviously, its range and accuracy isn't quite as good, but its fire rate and damage is so much that you have to hit probably half as many shots as with this gun, with the MK48, in order to get a kill. You'll have to hit half as many shots with the QBB LSW because it shoots so many more bullets at such more massive damage that hopefully that makes sense. So next, we could do the LSAT. Now, the LSAT is fully automatic LMG, versatile and strong overall, and it's a pretty decent. It's just average at everything, but once again, its fire rate and damage is not quite on par with the QBB. And then this is the last LMG, and I think this is probably one of the most, the closest to being one of the best submachine guns. This is probably my second favorite. Now, the cool thing about this submachine gun is that its fire rate and damage, it's almost as high as the QBB, but it's not quite as high. But it does have more range and accuracy. Now, this would probably be my favorite light machine gun, except for one fact. The longer you hold down the trigger, the slower your bullets start to fire, which means that at the start, it almost has high a fire rate and high of damage as the QBB, but after 1 or 2 seconds, its fire rate drops drastically lower, and now its damage is a little bit lower and its fire rate is a lot lower, which does increase the range and accuracy because you're now more accurate, but I think burst firing the QBB is a little bit superior to the HAMR. So hopefully I didn't spend a little bit too long on that, but that's why I chose the QBBW, or QBB LSW. Man, I wish I could talk. So let's now look at my attachments. So I'm using the full metal jacket just because with LMGs, it's awesome to just be able to shred through wood and stuff and just take people out through walls and stuff. And the light machine guns, I mean, they're already better at that than any other gun besides maybe the sniper, but putting on that full metal jacket, I think it increases the damage a little bit just going through like leaves and stuff, which doesn't quite make sense, but hey, it's game mechanics, and it's just really cool to put on. I also put on the foregrip because it reduces your recoil, which makes it a whole lot easier to shoot people long range, which kind of helps with that range problem that you have. And then also, I really don't like the iron sights, so I like throwing on the reflex sight, but that's kind of just my own little take on it. So let's now look at my perks. So my perk one, I like I've said in previous credit class, I really like Flak Jacket. It saves your life a lot. And kind of the way that you have to use light machine guns is you're not running around everywhere. You kind of have to control a location, and you always need to know where the enemy is. Because if an enemy attacks you from behind or from the side, chances are, because you're using such a big, massive gun, you're not going to be able to turn on them because you move so slow when you're using a light machine gun. So you kind of need to stay in an area. Now, I'm not saying you need to camp, but you need to kind of patrol a smaller area, and oftentimes they'll try to nade an area that you're at, or try to nade you. A flak jacket just saves your life a lot. And then I also like hardline because I love getting those kill streaks a little bit sooner. And then you'll see perk 2, I have toughness. You could also run scavenger. It's probably about just as good as toughness, but it really just depends on what you want. I like being able to not flinch as much when I'm shooting with a light machine gun. That way I can make sure that I get my shots on target. But if you find yourself staying alive a long time and running out of ammo, definitely throw on that scavenger pack. And then you also see that I have no perk 3. Now, normally I would not recommend not running a third perk, but let's look at these 3 perks, or these 6 perks, sorry. First, we have dexterity. Aim faster after sprinting, mantle, and climb faster. Now, when you're using a light machine gun, you're not going to be doing much sprinting, at least not for long distances, and you're not going to be doing much mantling and climbing, I hope, because that's just not the type of gun. If you want to do a lot of sprinting and jumping over crap and all that, then you're probably going to want to use a light machine gun. Next, extreme conditioning. Once again, we're not moving a lot. Engineer, tactical mask, this can be useful, but I find that taking this away just to have that extra slot for something else is a little bit more effective. Then once again, dead silence and awareness. I mean, yeah, they could both be useful, but once again, I mean, you're not going to be moving around behind enemy lines, so you're not going to need dead silence. And your awareness, yeah, it can help, but most of the time, you're going to want to know that the enemies are in front of you, and you want to keep your team behind and around you. So now I'm using the Simtex grenade. I just really like the Simtex grenade, partially because it's hard to throw the C4 super far when using an LMG. I just have a problem with that because you move so much slower, and the Simtex works just as well. So yeah, that is my class for LMG. This is kind of my favorite setup for the light machine gun. Man, I just sat through a super long lecture and stuff, so I was a little bit rusty for those commentaries. I hope you can tell. But yeah, hopefully this was an informative class setup. If you stayed this long in the video, clicking that like rating will help me out a lot, and hopefully this will help you out and you can have some fun beasting it up with an LMG. I really love LMGs in this game. I don't know, I like how they feel. They're not quite as strong as maybe a submachine gun in many cases, but they're still really fun to use. So thanks guys for watching. If this is the first video you've seen of mine, possibly click that subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys all later.